So we're joined by D-Pad Studio, the creators of Owlboy the game. Yeah. Starting out, tell us a little bit about the game. What kind of game is it, and what is it about?
Well, the best way to describe it is sort of like a side-scrolling Zelda game. So you have platforming, but you can also fly at any time. And then at the same time, you don't really have much of a power for yourself. So instead of being the big badass and flinging around swords and doing magic spells, you have a little spin attack. But you also have a lot of friends with you, so you can carry those around and they act as weapons for you. So you have free roaming adventure and exploration, but you also have big dungeons and lots of neat stories.
Your game kind of has an overarching theme, doesn't it? With the fact that you can't do a lot of stuff on your own.
Yeah, I mean the one red line that goes through the entire game is about friendship and what that entails and how you deal with difficulties in your life. And I won't say too much about this, but I realized that friendship sounds kind of like a two shoes kind of way to base the game around, but we go into a lot of very deep themes on it. So.
Yeah, it was pretty weird to explore because when I started working on Owlboy, we hadn't really gotten the friendship part down yet. Like, the first character you meet in the game is Gabe. He's your best friend in the game now. But the way it was before, the characters didn't even know each other. So that's yeah. So when we wrote the entire game, that's when things started clicking, and the game kind of became, I'm gonna say, about friendship.
And My Little Pony, friendship is magic, so you're onto something, right?
We were first.
You were first, okay. But why did you guys really want to go into the art of style of pixel art?
So,
yes.
The answer is kind of twofold. So first off, what I mentioned before was that pixel art was kind of seen as this outdated medium as opposed to just another way to make art. Which is very unfortunate because that means you can expand on the art and you can iterate and make new things with it. So we wanted to showcase that. And on the other hand, I was self-taught. So I taught myself how to do pixel art by myself. And it felt like this was the most interesting thing I could do because I was going to school to be a 3D artist at the time. And we had all opportunities to do that. XNA could support 3D capabilities, but it was just, this was something that was missing. It wasn't something that I felt a lot of people were doing right. And when they did it, it wasn't really all that detailed. So it was, everything was pushing towards that direction.
Yeah, at the time when I met Simon was when I really wanted to explore pixel art myself. But the thing is, I sucked at it. So I made a lot of games, but I used simplified pixel art for it. So when I started looking for a job like in the major gaming industry, I casually met Simon right before I went out, and I saw Owlboy and I was like, okay, yeah, this is the pixel art game I want to work on.
Yeah, I want to do this.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome that your passions have combined into making this project. So it's taken you guys 10 years to make this game, which is a really long time. Well, almost nine-ish. 10, okay.
Development started in 2007.
Yeah. So it's taken quite some time. So how has the process of creating this game affected your lives over the past years? I mean, it must have taken a lot of time and effort and resources.
Yeah, I mean, things changed a lot throughout the years. I mean, when we first started out, we really had to push hard to get noticed. And then when we got the IGF nomination, we didn't win it, but all of a sudden Norway started paying attention because, hey, international audience, that means we should care. And that kind of prompted things like award ceremonies and that sort of thing. The Norwegian government started issuing out grants, which was nice. But it also put us in the position that we were, I don't know if we were the first, but a lot of people claim we were the first indie company in Norway. And we still have that sort of reputation. So whenever people would come to us, they had a lot of expectations for just two guys sitting around messing around in their house. And then, as the expectations grew and the more we felt like we needed to add more things to this game, the more stress we got. So you could say, for example, I was going to marry my wife when I was done with the development cycle. And every year, it's like, yeah, we're almost done. Yeah, we're almost
Next
done.
year, I promise.
And then eventually I just had to give in and do it anyway, because it was dumb. And then, I mean, we had a lot of loss and depression and other nonsense that we had to go to just to finish this thing. So at this point, now that we're done, it sort of feels like we've only been developing this for maybe a year or two, because the last little stretch that we've been doing this has felt so fresh, because there's so little that of that heaviness and buildup that lingered for that. Because when we're at the end, it's like, yes, we can actually do this. Now we can show things, and people can show things on YouTube, and we can actually put up websites and say the game is coming out.
Yeah.
So it was a very different feeling.
Yeah, it's so weird to finally, talk about Owlboy in past tense. It's always been like, Owlboy's out soon.
In the future, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in there. And once we nailed down the date, we weren't even sure we were gonna make it. Because we were kind of there's still things in there that we want to change around, but we just had to say no.
It's enough.
It's time.
Yeah. In fact, I could mention that the very final areas where we really reveal a ton of secrets and everything, we didn't make the decision to add that in maybe until a week or two before the launch.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a bit of a crunch.
Yeah, because we had like a bunch of extra dungeons and tons of extra bosses. I think we have something like 3 or 4 bosses that we haven't used, and a ton of gameplay elements.
Fully animated. Programmed.
There's tons of characters that we haven't used, but then we realized that on one hand, they weren't fun, so we cut them out. But on the other, what did we really need to show? And that was the story bits and the things that made the game interesting. So we just combined it all into one area, and I feel like that's paid off, because a lot of people, even though it doesn't take a long time to find it, it does add a lot of depth to everything. So I'm happy that worked out.
Yeah. And I'm pretty glad that we ended up with how long Owlboy lasts and how we balance the gameplay. Even though some people, like hardcore gamers, they don't necessarily find Owlboy very challenging. The thing is, there's so much in Owlboy that I want people to see, so we've kind of balanced it towards most people, instead of having a great challenge.
Yeah, you want to hit a wider audience.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Me, I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I love to game socially or just for relaxation, so I think Owlboy will be very good for that kind of segment.
I think so too. One of my favorite games this year was actually Hyper Light Drifter. Thing is, I haven't even gotten to the first boss yet, because I'm so bad at games. And I really want to.
It's kind of ironic, a game developer that kind of.
I suck at my own games too. So I guess the game is balanced for my taste, I think.
It's sort of weird when you mention the balance thing, because screw it, I'll just mention it. When we were during development, I was in talks with Toby Fox for a little bit, and I'd written an article how much I loved his demo, and then at some point he sent me an email just saying, hey, I love the thing you wrote, you want the game for free? Here you go. And now a lot of people are saying, like, oh, will Owlboy be the next Undertale? And that game had a lot of the same challenge issues. It's how do you balance a game that's very story based to the point where you can satisfy everyone. And seeing how that game was received, and seeing how people have been talking about our game as well, we've just basically said that this game is not for everyone. We're not making this for the people that are going to blast through a Mega Man game in 3 seconds. The point is just this game is made for the type of people that like this type of game.
Yeah.
And if they come into this game and expect it to be Call of Duty, then
you're not going to get that.
Yeah, no. And then I'm fine with just saying, okay, this isn't your type of game, your criticism is of something else, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. No, but you got to pick your niche, and you got to have a clear message, and I think Owlboy definitely has a clear message. But how do you feel now that the game is finally released? Is it kind of like a feeling of catharsis or something, or relief, or is it a bit bittersweet?
No, bittersweet, definitely not.
No.
And not because we can finally start thinking about other game ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's been something we've been wanting to do for years.
Yeah, there's been so much pressure to make other games that we had to, even at times when we were more or less forced to take a vacation, we ended up making a different game during that time.
Yeah, Savant Descent.
Yeah. Which that worked out very well, and I think we kind of needed that experience too. But at the same time, we knew that we could never fully make another game until Owlboy's done.
Yeah.
So at this point, I mean, on one hand, we can now do whatever we want, which is great.
Yeah.
And on the other, it's this. I mean, try to imagine doing anything. I mean, visiting friends, making dinner, considering showing up at some place, traveling, all of that, and saying to yourself, well, every time I do this, I'm going to extend this project for another year.
Exactly.
And having that lifted off your shoulders is a relief I can't describe it.
You can now spend time with your girlfriends and your wives.
Yeah.
Yay.
Which is kind of revolutionary.
I'm guessing everyone feels happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you celebrate? I'm getting a meh from the sideline here. But did you guys celebrate in any specific way when you released?
No.
We cried.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors of crying. I have.
Yeah. No. I mean, me and Henrik were just like sitting there and maintaining the game because some people had it crashing like right off the bat. And,
that happens.
Yeah, and you know, like the soundtrack wasn't released properly, and we had to do a lot of stuff. So my mom and my dad came visiting with like, congratulations, and we were just like sitting there.
Now we can kind of pick our own battles. Right?
Yeah.
If we want to answer some emails one day and then just go, on the weekend I just want to make something else.
Yep.
Then we can do that. I don't need champagne or cake or any of that. I just need happiness.
I think working on other stuff is celebration enough at this point.
Well, that, and I probably should take a vacation.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
Yeah, I was about to say that. Take a holiday or something. Go somewhere.
Yes.
Relax. Do that. That sounds like a good idea.
We're
I'm
here.
getting eyes from the sideline.
They approve. They totally approve. Do you have any specific plans for the future? Where is D-Pad going next?
Well, we do. Actually, we have a lot of plans.
Yeah.
The thing is, we need to just choose something.
Yeah, the biggest challenge right now isn't to make more stuff, it's just to pick which one we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because
So you have a lot of ideas.
oh, hell yes.
We've already made prototypes and, you know, almost fully fledged games that are already finished.
Awesome.
So it's all about, you know, what is the most interesting, what would be the most fun, and other than that, it's just doing it.
And yeah, I guess we'll jump onto that once we've, you know, calmed down.
Yeah, have some time to breathe.
Yeah.
So last two questions. One is, have you been having fun at SpillExpo? What have you guys been up to while you've been here?
We've been here for like half an hour, so.
You got here a bit late, yeah.
Yeah, we've been busy taking care of all the storm that's happening with Owlboy right now.
Yeah.
So we just arrived, got up on stage, held a long presentation, and now we're here.
Yeah, this is pretty insane that Norway actually has a gaming convention. I mean, we've been here before, like since the start, but it seems to only get bigger and bigger, and that's something I never imagined when I was a kid, that Norway would have something like that. I don't think we had arcades in Norway.
No, it didn't.
No, we never did.
None
no.
of this existed, and
No.
in fact, we actually organized some of the first attempts at it.
Oh,
We
cool.
did something called Stand Indie. So we did the same thing. We tried to kind of build up the same thing that IGF had in San Francisco for a while.
Yeah,
So while we haven't had a lot of time for it lately, maybe we can pick that up again.
yeah, I hope so.
That would be awesome. Because I mean, the gaming community and the cosplay community is growing. Since we are mainly a cosplay show, I have to ask, have you guys ever considered cosplay?
I was wondering, because Getty, one of the main characters in the game, he mostly dresses in green. And right next to here, there's an expo called Felleskjøpet, which their entire like suit are green.
Yeah, the overalls.
So I was actually contemplating going over there and just buying a Getty costume from the rack.
I've been thinking about doing something from Owlboy for a while now. Actually, I figured out how to make the gloves, and we already made the cloak.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we have that, but it's more what I'm interested in seeing, because we've had a lot of people telling us that they will do it, but they haven't yet, is to see people cosplay as Owlboy characters.
Yeah,
because
that would be cool.
Oh, that would be so
Your
awesome.
wife whispered something about a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh
hat.
yeah, Joe is wearing one of our prototypes Bogwin hats.
Oh, it's super cute.
So Bogwins are tiny. They're like a mesh between a cow and a penguin that started out as a velociraptor. So
It's morphed a bit.
yeah, let's just say that they're little blobby, happy creatures that eat a lot.
Yeah, and the thing about Simon's designs as well is that they're really recognizable. Like Otis has become kind of this thing now that people actually make fan art for.
Yeah.
We receive maybe 10, 20 fan art pieces a day.
Well, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
I can't fathom how much stuff we received just after the launch.
Yeah, on launch day we received a pancake formed as Otis.
Yeah, that's so weird. What the hell?
That's so funny. But people have been following you guys for years and years, so there's no wonder people already have fan art amassed. But I think that's pretty much all we have time for. But thank you guys so much for coming to us and saying that you would do this interview. And if people want to learn more about Owlboy, where should they go?
Owlboygame.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you also on Facebook and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
DPAT Studio at Facebook, at DPAT Studio on Twitter. We also have a Owlboy subreddit if people want to sit around and just discuss random junk.
Yeah.
So,
And you also have merch.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. If you go to the Yeti, we have t-shirts and pins and posters. And one last thing, which we just announced, I think it was yesterday, We Love Fine. We've partnered up with them.
Oh,
and
cool.
they're doing what's called a fan forge, where if you made any kind of art or crafting or anything for Owlboy, you can submit it to there, and then it can become official merch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Do that. And buy the game, people. Yes. Okay, so that's everything we had for this time. Thank you for watching, and bye.
Bye.